I finally got to watch Chase play, so I wasn't.
Did he play?
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's crossword time, right, Jake? What'd you do over the weekend, Jake? Finish your crossword.
I mean, I did on.
Oh, Jaden, you got your crossword done, right?
No.
Are you serious? I was picking you because I was like, oh, I won't make her feel bad.
I did it this time. I did it this time.
We really don't have to be on there, do we? Those out there in cyberspace get to see my red face.
Oh, yeah, why did you think that?
Okay, because I finally got to see Chase play, so it was shortly after church, so I just put a jacket on, thought, I guess I don't need a hat, so I didn't have a hat. It's 45 degrees. Who thinks of getting sunburned?
I don't blame you.
It's okay.
All right, I don't have mine in front of me now because Andy's not back yet.
You want
Number 3 across. Blank Marshall. By the way, quiz is tomorrow. So, Jake, have you made your Quizlet yet?
I'm working on it.
Good. Yeah.
Very good.
What about him?
Uh,
Who was Thurgood Marshall? Why is he on our notes for the 1960s? Matter of fact, his relevance came up again last week. I found it interesting that second period, we live in this world of information instant, right? You guys have so much information at your disposal, but yet nobody in the second period seemed to think or remember who the first black Supreme Court woman, first black woman in the Supreme Court was. Do you know who she is?
didn't you?
Isn't that crazy? Thurgood Marshall, Scott, I just brought it back to your mind, that he was the first black man on the Supreme Court in the United States, and now this past week, it's the first black woman on the Supreme Court. Ketanji Jackson, Ketanji. You guys, none of you knew that? That's a very significant thing, and we live in this world of so much information, and you guys didn't even know that she was
Who did you replace?
on the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was there for a long
I thought
time.
that one chick just replaced her. Like,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. She replaced Breyer, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Died.
Yeah.
Died?
No, he retired.
Kind of sudden.
Number 3 across was Thurgood, Thur, good Marshall. Yeah. What?
Never mind.
Oh, you want the next one?
Sure.
Number.
Was like a black activist, but he didn't do it peacefully.
Okay, very good. So we mentioned second period that maybe we should do a essay, compare and contrast Malcolm X and MLK. What do you think?
That's not instead of this, 'cause
No, in addition to.
Actually, I need the grades.
I don't agree.
I don't know.
There was a couple people in second period that thought they'd rather do essays than take tests.
No.
Oh, it's because.
All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Malcolm X, Trey, was a civil rights activist who had his vision of America where people would be treated equally. The difference between him and MLK was Martin Luther King Jr. constantly was trying to tell people to do it peacefully, because we are living in the 1960s where from 56 actually, with Brown versus Board of Education, where they outlawed segregation, right? So since that time, over this 10-year period, America is finally getting to the point through legislation, through these acts, that civil rights are becoming the norm. 100 years after the Civil War, we're finally getting it to where these people in the South that were still not allowing blacks to be treated as equal, getting rid of all the loopholes they were using, right? So we're passing amendments, we're passing laws, but Martin Luther King Jr. was like, it's one thing to have a law. We want to affect change in people's hearts. And you're not going to win their hearts by violence. You're going to win their hearts by you peacefully protesting, and let them be the violent ones. And by the way, we're in the television era, right? So once we get into the 60s, most people have televisions and they're turning on their news and they're like, what is going on? Why are they using fire hoses and sicking dogs on people, it looks like they're just peacefully protesting. Peacefully, that's guaranteed in our First Amendment of our Constitution, the right to assemble and peaceably protest. And they're treating the people that they're trying to win would say, oh, yeah, see, look how they're acting. They deserve it. Catch all that? Number 8 across. This resolution gave President Johnson, like, hey, what are the limits to this power when it comes to the military? What was that resolution? Yes, Mackenzie. The Gulf of Tonkin resolution. So through this crisis that occurred off the coast of Vietnam, Americans said, Congress said, okay, we need this Vietnam. No, Congress never declared war. Number 10, what was that failed coup attempt? Not coup. It's got a weird name, 3 words. It was down in South Cuba.
They
Bay of Pigs.
to take over Cuba.
Why?
That Castro.
Castro brought a socialist/communist revolution to Cuba in 1959. So a lot of people got out of Cuba, Florida, and organized and said, we're going to take our country back. We had freedom in Cuba. Cuba was a great place. And now this guy's taking it over. We want to take it back. And America's like, excellent idea. We don't want communism in our backyard. Well, we can't really sell it to the rest of the world that we are like invading another country. So you see what the problem was there? There was a predicament for the U.S. government. Like we were, quote unquote, secretly, not totally secret, but helping them, prepare them to go, wanted them to take it back over. But how would we look on the world stage if we just said, hey, America over Cuba? That'd be a hard sell. Kind of like with Putin right now. Like, hey, you just can't go take over. You might think that Ukraine is still part of the Soviet Union. You just can't go in. The rest of the world's not going to buy, hey, I'm just going to take over another country. No, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, Bay of Pigs, failed coup attempt. By the way, reminds me of a joke. The great Ronald Reagan, in his way to communicate, I'm going to mess up the joke. I won't tell as good as him, but Castro's communist, right? So he takes over Cuba, and he's speaking to a big crowd of Cubans. Probably made him be there because he's Castro. So he's speaking, and as he's speaking, he hears somebody in the crowd yelling, popcorn, peanuts, Cracker Jack. By the way, did I tell you that Castro, it's been said that he might have made it in the Major Leagues Baseball? He's a baseball player. Anyway, so the guys in the crowd saying, popcorn, peanuts, Cracker Jack, and it's kind of interrupting Castro's speech. All eyes are supposed to be on him. He's the dictator. So he kind of gets mad. He stops the speech, and then he comes on, and then he hears another guy. Popcorn, peanuts, Cracker Jack. Now he's getting a little irritated while he's trying to speak to the people. He's Castro, right? And these people keep interrupting him real loud in the crowd. So third guy does it. Finally, he gets mad. You know how some people get mad? They'll say, "I'll knock you out," or something. Anyway, he gets mad and he says, all right, that's it. He stops his speech and he says, next person I hear interrupting my speech with popcorn, peanuts, Cracker Jack, I'm going to kick you all the way to Miami. A couple minutes later, the whole crowd. Popcorn, peanuts, Cracker Jack. You get it? That's a funny joke, John. You get it? You sure you get it, David?
I get it. I get it. I get the joke.
By the way, just a reminder, how many people have died since 1959 making a raft in the middle of the night, sneaking out of Miami?
0.
Many have died doing just that. The clutches of communist Cuba. To make of communist Cuba. to make it to America. Number 13, it's called the Tet Offensive. What about it? What about it? Up in your notes at the top of the screen, because your photographic memories when the test comes through. Where was that on those? It was at the top of the screen, the Tet big bold print offensive or all caps. It was in 1968, and we said it was the turning point. Was it necessarily the turning point to who was winning war or not? No, it was a turning point. America, when they saw what happened. By the way, what's Tet? I liken Tet to what other holiday you've heard about on the other side of the world? Yeah. Okay, so we Chinese New Year, right? We said it was pretty much like the Chinese New Year in Vietnam. They called it Tet, and the idea was that no one's going to fight on a holiday, right? Like go back to World War I, the Christmas truce. Like no one, they were battling on the battlefield, going to like start firing on the other on Germans or day. Not to do that. Well, that's what we thought was going to happen in Vietnam. Celebrate this Tet, right? For the evil northern Vietnamese communists to really go on the offensive. And America saw what the effect of that speech and said, we need to create the great society, and we need to have no poor people. Civil rights. Going back to, hey, we're passing laws, but are we changing hearts? Number 22, the 64 candidate. This was the candidate that was running against LBJ, and of course he lost. The Republican candidate for president in 1964. He's kind of given credit for being like the father of the modern conservative movement. Like Ronald Reagan was kind of a disciple of this man, who they painted as an extremist. And he said, hey, is it bad to be extreme when you're trying to defend American liberty? What was his name? Barry Goldwater. So if you're considered a Goldwater Republican, you really hold fast to the conservative ideals of, America's the land of liberty and opportunity, and government should not do too much intervening in that liberty and opportunity. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Next. Viet blank. And who were these people? Police. They're known as Viet Cong. Where'd they live? In the north or the south? Where'd the Viet Cong live? In the north or the south?
South.
And who were they fighting for?